with me, Professor Yalman, from the TED radio studios at TED University. This is to reach out to those who have questions and want desperate answers. Why me? Because I've seen it all. I've seen it all in different aspects. I have been up, down, I was fired, I was hired, I was poor, I was rich. I fell in love, I lost my love, I became a kite surfer, I became a writer, I became a poet, I became a musician. I never stopped trying. At the end of the day, I never stopped trying. I never lost my hope. There was always a pinnacle in my life where the answers to those questions came. And if those answers are not coming by themselves, here's your chance to ask us. Ask us and I will answer them. As I say, life can get even or you can get a 7. So a 7 you can get much easier, not just believing in luck, but being persistently pursuing your path, which is your authentic path. Ask the questions. In and Out with Professor Yalman every week on Thursday with you. In and Out with Professor Yalman from TED University Radio TEDU Ankara studios, and we have a magnificent guest today, our rector, Professor Dr. İhsan Sabuncuoğlu. And he's not just our rector, he is also a dear friend. We've been through different things in different universities together. He's an educator, he's a thinker, but at the same time, he's a change maker. So we're going to be talking about how to be a rector today. Welcome, dear Hocam.
Thank you, Semih. And I like your wording, change makers.
Change maker, yes.
I'm not sure whether I'm magnificent or not.
Well,
I really like the change maker.
Hocam, perception is reality, so as we say. I just want to start with a very preliminary question because you've been in every aspect of education. And I want you to define education. What do you think education is?
Maybe we should say what is not education.
Okay.
It's not only the formal thing. It's a non-formal education is also important. Students are not learning in the classes, from the books or from the whatever the laboratory is, but the students should learn from the peers. Students should learn from the industry sectors, from families, you know what I mean? And maybe that while doing the exercising or sport, they also learn it. So first of all, it shouldn't be only considered as a formal thing. There is a informal part of it, which is today, in today's world, even it is more important to have the informal education as a part of the total education system.
So it's a collective thing. It's not just a monologue, or it's not just something you sort of address and then you measure or something like that, right?
It's not the thing that you can gain from the lessons, from the classes, or from the professors, from the libraries. You know what I mean? You also learn from the life.
So it's timeless and it's an experience.
That's right.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm. And also, let me also complete my answer to your question. And the second thing is not about us transferring a knowledge. It's a lifelong learning. It's a continuous process from the very beginning, from the birth to the end of the life, first of all. So schools are only the very small part of this entire process. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. From the very beginning, when you birth, and then that. So it's conceived in such a manner. And sometimes the people also think that it's an event. It's a kind of process that ends up with diploma. So the education is not a diploma anymore.
Yes.
Okay. So we should forget the diploma. Diploma is nothing today. So it's a process which unlocks the human power, so that you can develop your skills, you can improve yourself, or you can improve your human characteristics. you know, so it's more than what you think, what we think in general.
Excellent. Very, very
The
enlightening question.
schools and the teacher are only a small part of this entire game.
Yes, yes. That's a very enlightening question, because we always trying to format it into X amount of years, K-12, 4 years of college, and then masters, PhD, whatever. But you say it's a collective, and it's an ongoing process. It's there until you die.
Shall I also add one thing?
Sure, sure.
When you say K-12,
Yes.
most of the time universities, now we are talking about the
Yeah.
higher education as well, and in addition to K-12. But most of the time people think that higher education or universities are K-13. But it's not. It's not.
Yes.
If the K-12 is, driving a car, I mean, this is a kind of analogy usually I give. Universities are something like, driving helicopter or airplane, something different, significantly different, even though they both take you from one place to another, but say different machines and different procedures and things like that.
Excellent, excellent. I love the answer. You have been in different entities, but the way I see what you do in those entities is that when you're involved in those entities, I don't know, because whether it's because of your industrial engineering background, whatever, you tend to sort of transform those entities. You don't just accept them as they are. So when you're like a rector of a university, the change maker process in you starts, and it sort of evolves into the entire system somehow, and everybody's part of it. How do you do that?
I think it's a part of your character. I believe so. Industrial engineering discipline helped me a lot, because industrial engineering is about, system thinking, optimization, and continuous improvement and competitiveness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you always try, as an industrial engineer or as a person who had industrial engineering experiences in the past, usually improve the systems, either minimize the cost or maximize the profit, improve the quality, or improve your the muscles for competition and things like that. Okay, that's a good discipline. I mean, you always become a more competitive person in the life. But I believe it is more character. I think it's my character. You are not satisfied with the current situation. You know what I mean? You always try to improve it, and I think it's about a little bit leadership, vision, and moving away from the comfort zone. That's another thing. I mean, it's not easy, by the way.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. So, but the industrial engineering usually fits to my character. The people usually choose the discipline or the area or whatever, the professional area based on some criteria. I think that one of the criteria should be the his or her character. You know what I mean? And the discipline should match with the character. Then you get 1 + 1 = 5, 10, or whatever.
That brings me to my third question. Actually, you spoke about leadership, and when I look at you, you're a very big believer in collective authority. But when you're doing that, when you're managing in a collective way, how does one not misuse or misinterpret power? Because nowadays when we talk about leadership, it's always the spectrum of somebody could sort of misuse it or generate something negative out of it. But you're not just leading, but you're utilizing collective authority.
I think that most of the people miss this this critical point. I mean, you ask very critical question. You must be, very smart, even smarter than Einstein. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You must be, and you must have a power. Very rich person as well, even richer than whatever the famous families. But still, you cannot achieve the success alone. You need a good, strong team support to be able to get a success, to achieve the things. Or that means you should distribute your power wisely as much as you can, and trust the people and give them a flexibility to even make mistakes. That's very important. Usually, when I give the responsibilities and authorities to the people or distribute, I also give a tolerance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And deliberately, I even see their mistakes, but I make sure that they learn from these mistakes. You know what I mean? As you do more mistakes, you gain more experiences. So I believe that, teamwork today, especially today, I mean, most of the problems we faced today is challenging, big challenges, global challenges. I mean, we cannot handle this problem alone.
Yeah.
Also, by the only one discipline.
Yes.
So you should have many people from the different areas, different disciplines. You should organize them, and otherwise, the success is impossible.
I think university is a perfect place to do that, especially from the management and leadership point of view, because you're giving not only the space, but here you have two kind of stakeholders. You have the academic stakeholders, who are the professors and researchers, etc. But at the same time, there are the students. And especially like yourself, when you're loved by the students, it's very difficult to be loved by the academics as well at the same time. But you're managing them very well both. So how do you balance it?
It's another very critical question. By the way, can I share the one?
Sure, definitely.
Can I share the one good news?
Yes.
Yesterday or the day before, I don't know, but just in last 2 days, YÖK, Turkish Higher Education Council, has announced for the first time in Turkey student satisfaction.
Great news. Wow,
Universities all over, 210 universities. You know what? As a TED University, we are number one in Ankara.
That's wonderful news.
Believe me, this is the first time. And this is based on their research, their surveys and everything. And plus, in Turkey, among all foundation universities, we are in the first 3. Among all state and foundation universities, we are in the first 10.
That's wonderful news.
Even the 8. Given the fact that we have only 14 years or 15 years of the past, I mean, having this success is very critical and very motivating for everything. Everybody. I also in this context, with this opportunity, I would like to also thank my faculty members, deans, chairs, and also the head of the board of trustees and our foundation to achieve this success, which is very striking.
This is enormous.
Now, coming back to your question, I think that you don't have to choose between two. Okay. I mean, for the many years, for about 10, 15 years, when I first became a university administrative or whatever, I took to some kind of administrative positions. I felt that, having a good university or good education system is like with the analogy, with the following analogy, making an ayran, a Turkish,
Yes.
drink, very famous drink, ayran. Good quality students mixing with the good, talented academic people.
Yeah.
That's as simple as this, and you have to mix it very well. So you cannot prefer one over the other one.
So you're the mixer.
Yeah, I am. Oh no, not the. Also the recruiting or getting to the quality of yogurt, getting the quality of the water as
Okay.
well. Okay, and retaining them. Okay, first
Excellent.
recruit to the talented people, students,
Yeah.
and also recruit the good faculty
Academics,
members, or academician or scientist, and retain them. Today's retention is more difficult than recruiting. Okay,
Sure.
and you should also organize them. Like a orchestra chef. You need to organize them, mix them. Anyway, I think that requires two different dimensions of leadership.
Yes.
Okay, faculty members. For faculty members, what is more important is you should have mutual respect. Okay, as a rector or as a high level administrative or execution person, you need to have a mutual respect with the faculty members. They should trust you as much as you can trust them, and also some kind of respect.
Yeah.
And the second thing is the shared vision. Shared vision. You should have a common vision. Okay, these are very critical things.
Yes.
And also you should have a professional collaboration.
Okay.
That's very important. Not the human-based or whatever, some different relation, but professional relationship is very important for the faculty members. As far as the students, when we come to the students part, the first thing you should show empathy. Very critical, empathy. Listen to students.
Yeah.
Understand their problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And try to help them. Supervise them as much as possible. Not to teach them. Supervise them. Mentorship. Okay? This is very critical things. I think that I am trying to do this. For that reason, in the past, even in my, in the TED University, I have no serious problems or any conflict with the students and also the faculty members at all.
Yeah, I remember also in the past you always had this open door policy, and you still maintain that open door policy. Anybody can just
accessibility is
accessibility.
For that I always say my door is open.
Yes. And you mean it.
You know what? It is always open. Unless a visitor, a person visiting me, would like to close the door for some confidential, conversation, I always keep my doors open, and I always give the appointment to the students in the same day. That's what I'm trying to do. As long as I am in the institution, I am in the city itself. Okay, that's the
wonderful.
That's my view.
Wonderful. Now I'm moving a bit to a very important question, especially from the perspective of the students. Now, as you know, artificial intelligence is so much a part of our lives, and artificial intelligence is doing so many things much faster than we are doing right now. Of course, we have to ask the right questions, etc. But so, what is your perspective on utilization of artificial intelligence in education?
Semih, for almost the last say 15 months, almost a year and a half, I have been spending my time, my personal time, significant of my time, reading the AI and digital technologies and how to incorporate these technologies into our systems. Believe me, every day. I don't know, but I also, my best assistant, or it is becoming my best assistant, is the ChatGPT.
Same with me.
I mean, even if I go to restaurant, before I go to the restaurant, I also consult it.
So you train your ChatGPT at the same time,
Oh, sure,
right?
yeah.
They-
I think it is my best friend.
Yes.
I mean, but it depends whether it is best friend or not. You have to teach. You have to teach the AI, whatever your assistant, as much as you can.
Yeah.
One thing I should say about the AI, most of the time people think that AI is the technology itself. But it's more than a technology.
It is, yeah.
It's not about the technology anymore. The success in AI depends on not on technology anymore or any longer. It depends on many things, including ethics, human values, and also the taking the responsibility. Trust. These are very critical issues. For that reason, we started the AI integration with the process of writing our policy documents and AI policies. So today in Turkey, TED University is one of the few universities with the AI policies and AI strategy, I mean. And we are moving in this technology along this way, systematically.
Okay, perfect. So it is already part of our lives. It's part of the education, and you're saying that university is also an experimental place where we are utilizing further the policies of how we can sort of improve that interaction.
Sure. I mean, the universities are always big laboratories, especially for the students.
Yeah.
Especially for the students.
Now, my last three questions are actually I have four more questions, but they're more in a different level where I know that you appreciate that and you love that. One is when was the last time you did something for the first time?
I've been involving in many different things, and last week, for example, I was impressed with the Cyprus.
Okay, you went to Cyprus.
Yeah,
for the first time.
For not the second time.
Second time.
It has been more than 25 years.
Okay.
I have not really visited before, but I was impressed. I learned many things.
Okay.
I go back to the 80s or maybe middle of the 80s in Turkey. It took me, current Cyprus took me back to the 80s in Turkey.
Excellent. Well, what are two books or one book that impresses you the most and you want to recommend to our listeners?
Most of the time, I'm reading the books regarding to technology, especially the AI and digital technology. I can give you the two names.
Yeah.
One is, the Schwab.
Yes, Schwab.
Founder of the Economic Forum.
Yes.
And his book
Klaus
is
Schwab.
Fourth Generation.
Fourth Generation. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one thing. And the second is The Circle. The Circle. Again, it has to do with the AI, ethical values, human values, and how we, harmonize this too.
So the Fourth Generation
by Eggers or something.
Eggers.
Yeah.
Okay. The Fourth Generation and The Circle, two important book recommendations from my rector.
Because I have no time, Even I, or if I have some time, I walk. even in the evening time, even very late evening, maybe 9:30. My biggest problem is the short of the time, shortage of the time.
What is some wisdom words from you to the new incomers to the university and to those who are exiting the university? What would you say?
Critical question. For entering the universities, new students, you mean?
Yes.
I think that they open the eyes.
Okay.
They should open the eyes. They should spend more time outside the classroom. Remember at the beginning of our conversation, I mentioned informal education,
Yes.
learning from the peers,
Yes.
from outside the classroom,
Yes.
things like that. So they should spend time in the life, in the companies or in the NGOs or in the whatever the different, and hobbies is very, very critical. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They should develop themselves, not only technically in their area, but they should also develop themselves culturally, socially, and intellectually. And that requires significant time.
Yes.
And they should also ready to make mistakes. I mean, this is the best place, in fact, universities, to do the lots of mistakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. To
Because
allow themselves
every
to do
mistakes,
mistakes.
well, even the failures,
Yes.
is a very good experience for them. But in the life, when they graduate, they don't have such a tolerance. You know what I mean? So they should relax and they should do what they would like to do. And also they shouldn't hesitate to making the mistakes. They should try the new things.
Yeah.
For the graduating ones, graduating students or almost graduating students, my recommendation is keep learning, because we are living in the area, we are living in this at the stage that the world is fast changing, everything is changing, and whatever you learn is like the battery of the mobile or battery of the car. You need to recharge it. So which means that you need to learn, upgrade your skills. You develop new skills. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So keep learning it. So the best thing for the entering students, therefore, my goal, recommendation, they should learn how to learn.
They should learn how to learn.
How to learn.
Excellent.
To be able to successful after they graduate.
Yes.
Because they will have to learn many times, 15 times, 20 times, maybe 100 times, like they did in universities. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the gaining the learning skill, how to learn, is critical than anything else.
Yes.
That's my final recommendation for the students.
The way we met, as you remember, many years ago was in Kayseri, and the reason we met was when you heard that I was teaching a class on imagination capacity increase and dreams, right. And my social initiative at that time, you said, "Oh my God, who is this guy?" And then we met, but I wasn't alone in that, because you're a big dreamer as well. You believe in dreams. You even made the motto of that university something about dreaming. Now I want to ask you
one of the 10 mottos.
Yes, and now I want to ask you, and I think our audience is going to keen to know, what is your dream?
Over the last, especially the 15 years, I built experiences that very valuable experiences that I would like to use my experience to change the higher education system in the world. because unless we change the higher education system, not reshaping I'm talking about, not restructuring I'm talking about, reimagining, you know what I mean? We need to change the higher education system significantly. Otherwise, the universities will be closed. So the gap is getting bigger and bigger, and we may not need universities or higher education or education systems in the future. So my right now is the big dream, the biggest dream, to use my innovative background, experiences built over the many decades, to be able to come up with a very innovative higher education system.
Yes, our dear audience, we came to the end of our program with so much insightful words of wisdom, experience from our dear rector, Professor Dr. İhsan Sabuncuoğlu. And he has not just only shared his wisdom, but also his dreams, which we are honored to hear. And as you can see, this program is not just voicing for the students, but it's also a connection point with the academia and the higher administration to connect with the students at the same time. So thank you for coming in. Thanks for being so genuine and answering our questions from the bottom of your heart.
It is my pleasure.
And
my pleasure
I
to
want
be
to thank
with
you. I want to thank you.
This is the first time, by the way. I know you for many years.
Yes.
But this is our first conversation.
Behind the microphone.
Formal or whatever.
Yes, yes. So on behalf of the students, I thank you very much as well, because they appreciate your answers. In and Out with Professor Yalman from TED University Radio TED Ankara Studios. We had a fabulous, fantastic episode which will be aired soon. And yes, thank you very much, dear Professor. Thank you very much, Arda, for helping us.
Thank you, Arda. Also, thank you, Sam.